Hi, this is Steffy and welcome back to the FinancialFox AMA Series with Tim Bruckmann, founder and CMO of IAMX, a blockchain-agnostic platform for people to regain control of their digital identity. Because identity is everything, and your data is everything, and you need to understand that you can take control of your data, or actually you should. Anyway, on this month M&A, we have a special guest, Bruno Kellenberger, CEO of KYC Spider, a digital KYC compliance tool for the fintech industry. KYC Spider is a partner of IAMX, and in this episode, we are going to be focusing on KYC, KYBs, and how self-sovereign identity a solution enabled by blockchain technology can really revolutionize the way the KYC and KYBs are done. This was a very interesting conversation. I had 10 questions that we got from our community for both Bruno and Tim, and we kind of cover, I think, everything. But if you think I missed something, please get in touch with us via Twitter, or you can send me an email at steffi@financialfox.news. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, click the subscribe button now and follow us on social media to stay up to date with our news and interviews. Okay. Tim, Bruno, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Stefania. Pleasure being here.
Hello, Stefania. Nice to meet you again.
Yeah, fantastic. So we had Tim last month, and we did 10 questions to him, diving into what IAMX offering is, and some questions that we got from the community. This time we wanted to bring you on as well because we wanted to focus on KYC. So we reached out to the community. We got some very interesting questions, 10 questions that I'm gonna put to both of you, so you can both give me your feedback, your insight, and remember that all these questions, they came from the community, so they are looking for answer. And I think the concept of KYC and self-sovereign identity and blockchain is something really hot right now. So are you ready to get started? Brilliant. So maybe before we start, just to keep a bit of suspense, so do you want to give a short introduction, Bruno, and maybe Tim, you can do that as well, so you can, tell a bit about yourself and a bit about like a recap about what IAMX is doing, so everybody is on the same page.
With pleasure. Shall I start? So.
Okay.
I'm Bruno Kellenberger. I'm the CEO of KYC Spider since roughly 2.5 years. Previously, I worked in banking and then in larger software firms, usually serving always regulated, heavy regulated clients like banks or wealth managers. Actually, in KYC Spider, we do have two main missions. One is we want to help clients to digitalize compliance processes, and the second is actually we want to deliver and use best quality data and make that available for any purpose what is required.
Brilliant.
I would like to add, the history of KYC Spider. Perhaps Bruno, you lose some words about that, but this is how we got in touch with KYC Spider. It's our most important partner, and we feel really that we are grow together as a kind of a team. And the history of KYC Spider is very interesting. Perhaps you lose some words about this, Bruno.
Yeah, with pleasure. I didn't want to make it too long, as this year we are having our 20th anniversary. And having said that, that's mainly relevant for the data piece, as obviously since 20 years we do have collected, we call it the KYC records, which means data around sanctions around politically exposed persons and crime. So there is a huge history and a huge legacy we have. We were founded as a joint venture between a very reputed law firm called MME, very strong in compliance and also blockchain, and a spin-off of the University in Zurich, more coming from the data analysis, data management. And they actually brought together business know-how and technical skills. And for the first 15 years of our history, beside the collection of data, we were mainly this vehicle to support some common clients of those two companies. 5 years ago, we have decided really to make KYC Spider independent and to go to market with a new modern software as a service platform. And that's actually what we have been doing the last 3 years, as we used about 1.5 years to develop this new platform.
Brilliant, amazing, and congratulations on the 20 years anniversary.
Yeah, my name is Tim Bruckmann, and I'm the co-founder of IAMX AG, also based in Switzerland. And like Bruno already mentioned, the KYC Spider, they are really long in this compliance industry. We are coming more from the blockchain technology. We entered the blockchain space because we saw that KYC data are relevant, especially from the view out of people who work in mobile telecommunications.
Okay, well, brilliant. And anybody that want to maybe dive a bit into the interview, the M&A that we did the last months, they can always go to our YouTube channel and check the 10 questions that we put to Tim last month. So let's start with question 1 that is actually quite nice because we talk about, KYC, but also blockchain and self-sovereign identity. So we kind of cover everything. Right. How can self-sovereign identity enabled by blockchain technology revolutionize the KYC process for individuals and businesses? So that's the question. And I would like you to cover the concept of reusable KYC, how does it work, and what benefit brings to it.
Start and give then over to Bruno for the technical part, perhaps, or how is it stored. For us, it's very important, and that unites KYC Spider and IAMX, that we believe self-sovereign identity is something very important, as it streamlines the ecosystem, all what we do in KYC processes, and it gives it a more user-centric view. So what we like is we avoid more and more open data silos, like Meta have, Apple, all these big tech companies. We think that all your data has to be managed out of your wallet, like in the real world. This, I think, the basement we're building on, and the reusable KYC is a KYC where the user likes us, so he makes an opt-in and check mark. He clicks when he does his KYC process that he can choose. I like to have it reusable, so he onboards at the Steffy Bank platform, the FinancialFox Bank, very famous bank. And onboarding there, you can just reuse your KYC, which is done when you onboard it to Deutsche Bank, perhaps. So this is, for me, in a nutshell, you always have, if you're not a technical view, which Bruno gives you later, 2 wallets entering a DEX, a decentralized exchange, and the decentralized exchange has to check, are these wallets whitelisted? Is there KYC inside? Can I work with them? And the reusable KYC guarantees that you can reuse these KYCs again and again. Always like the regulations say us, or the regulations, determine what should be stored on the side of the bank or the platform.
Yeah, we have got a question on regulation, so hold on there. Bruno, do you want to add maybe some more technicality on how sovereign identity powered by blockchain can actually, revolutionize KYC?
I think one driver, and obviously I'm more going to how do we see, as a traditional player in the KYC business, how do we approach blockchain and those technologies? And for us, I think beside the element which unifies us, that we do believe the final person or the final user should gain more power back and more information back. And I think that's fully in line with all the data protection regulations among there. That's obviously nicely enabled by a decentralized blockchain. And furthermore, the blockchain obviously allows to have a very clear traceability. You have the possibility to really serve on a global scale your services, and that's why we do believe in 10 years' time that will be the common way of dealing with compliance, and blockchain actually is an infrastructure which is best fitted to address all those requirements.
Perhaps it's also when I add, from a business view, always, my background is also consultancy business, and usually people ask you what's the cost and how effective is the way how we work. The cost.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have got a question on that, Tim. I've got all the question on that. So we move to actually the KYB now. So question is, what are the key benefits of adopting a self-sovereign identity framework specifically for KYB requirement? And how can businesses leverage the framework to enhance trust and transparency
when
in their
where I
operation?
just ended, it's for always cost efficiency, and we can really well streamline using the blockchain. We can streamline the whole due diligence because if you look at the costs of a KYC, of a KYB or corporated KYC, there are different words for a KYB. KYB means know your business, and we are talking about with making business with entities, institutions, companies. And if you think about the cost, that it can be 20,000 euro to make a KYB possible. So if all these, companies have to do it again and again, we have not a really high efficiency, and also the time-wise, it consumes a lot of time. So if you look perhaps at people who are leading a family office with rich people, they don't have a lot of time. A lot of people asking them, please invest here, please invest here. And some people don't like to make 10 times the KYB. They simply don't like it. They say, okay, I don't invest. It's Sunday, I go out with my family. These are decisions you made in your life and, on a daily basis. And I think the efficiency is something which is most important using the blockchain technology to streamline KYBs and KYCs.
Potentially, I can add here and fully following that thought, Tim. I mean, today KYB is mainly done very manually, and it is researched more or less on an ad hoc basis. And that is actually not only for the company who wants to onboard somewhere, but also for the company who is doing the onboarding, very cumbersome. And there, at the end, if you nail it down, KYB is finally a collection of various KYCs plus some complementary information. But at the end, the regulator will always force business to declare finally who is the ultimate beneficial owner of a business. And either it's a publicly listed company, then it might be the easiest way, but otherwise you really need to dig down and unbundle. If you have structures, corporate structures you need to unbundle that down to persons who finally control the company. And there actually we can really bring together this efficiency from the blockchain together with the know-how around KYB, and we can be much more efficient, even though we might not have 100% automation, but we still increase heavily the automation and the grade of efficiency.
Great. I have got actually a question about cost saving. So would you be able to kind of tell me what cost saving we are talking about, and if you could provide, for example, some example actually of what, like the money that a business can save using a blockchain-based sovereign identity solution rather than doing, manual KYC. Feel free to bring a real-world example, even in developing country as well, if that kind of like makes sense.
I can give you some examples, just what are usual KYC automation rates today, and what do we expect leveraging here blockchain? And actually today a KYC might be something around 70% automated, 80% if it's really simple and very, very much focused. And we do actually believe that we can come up to 99.something% of automation, which means that the vast majority of the KYCs will be processed fully automated without any intervention. Now, if you look from a cost perspective, you don't need to look to the automated part. So the 70% is not very interesting, but your resources, your FTEs are allocated to manage the 30%. And actually, if you come from 30%, which reflects your FTEs in the compliance department, you can go down to 1% or even below. You dramatically reduce the cost, and you can obviously leverage this know-how then for instance, KYB purpose, where you still want to have some educated decisions not taken by a machine. But for the KYC piece, it's massive and tremendous.
And Bruno, I think it's more always in the focus with financial institutions. If you look now, buying an NFT, doing smaller businesses, which are not strongly regulated, like onboarding a new telco client, a telecommunication client, where you use the KYC, just to know, okay, this is not a terrorist. Yeah, I will do it a little bit in a nutshell that people can understand it. There is no deep check with anti-money laundering or anything like this if you onboard a telecom client. But if you have it onboarded and this information is in your cryptographic wallet, you can for sure use this to buy an NFT or to log in somewhere, because then you have your data, and the other company, now I'm coming to the cost, the Steffy bank, don't have to pay again, or don't have the cost of 15 euros up to more for KYC. So you save the onboarding every time. You save the costs for KYC. Now people very often ask me, yeah, but then you destroy your own business. No, we don't do, because a KYC must be renewed from time to time. The pass, or ID card has a validation of 10 years usually. And some entities need updated informations. And we like to be the hub that people can update with us, so they get a real client. We are not looking for a single contact, make your KYC, goodbye, we never see you again. We like that people, we can serve them, we can be a hub of trust, especially when you think about that the data it's just KYC Spider is storing, then IAMX is not storing data, but they are stored in a regulated server environment in Switzerland, which makes our solution also very safe and very, following the wish of anonymity in the blockchain space.
I have got a question, and the next question is about data privacy and security. So how does self-sovereign identity enhance data privacy and security in the context of KYC and KYB? And on that, if you could also elaborate on how KYC can be monetized without compromising the security and privacy of the users, ensuring there is basically a win-win scenario so nobody gets screwed. But I wanted to find another word, but
I can start, with the view. I think Bruno knows the cost and the complexity much better, and how to monetize them. We like to monetize the people or the companies who onboarded clients to us. So we make a KYC and for a client, for a company, and then we like that these company, or we offer like a marketplace of cashback and affiliate. So if these people log in with their cryptographic IAMX wallet to like Nike.com, they look, okay, I need a new sneaker. They find the sneaker, and when they buy, our wallet will look at the tabs, see, okay, there's Nike. Nike is a partner of IAMX. So we get kind of a commission for bringing you, also you, Steffi, I bring you to Nike. Nike said, thanks very much. You bring a new client, so we get a commission paid. And this commission we share with the onboarding company and with the end user as a cashback, and we take a cut. So that's a very new form of monetizing KYC data or KYC processes. And this solution is just possible because with KYC Spider, we found the way how to make the KYC really reusable.
And actually, that's the point you just made before. To make it reusable, data needs to be stored somewhere, and that's per se. And there, I think your question goes also into it against the decentralized world. And how we solve that is quite simple. Actually, we do not play a role like a Web2 data, one of the big data collectors. We do store data on behalf of clients, and we have to protect it to the utmost security, because that's the key data of clients. And we do that already in the past with our traditional old-style clients, and we will continue to do so also in the future. However, thanks to that, we obviously can store that in a secure way. And the end user, and that's I think the most important element in SSI, the end user drives where to show what data, and the control is always with the user rather than with any company who is commercializing that behind us, using Google's, Apple's, Amazon's, and so on. Obviously, commissions are also paid in that scenario, but they are paid without getting anything out of it for us as a user. So from that perspective, I think that's the way how we can do that. And even in the extreme case of any, I would say, of any claim where the data, the evidence might be of importance, actually, you would need to go the intergovernmental way to the Swiss government, and then you would go further and need really to get a judge deciding that we need to hand out a specific record for evidence purpose. Otherwise, we cannot do it. We are not even not allowed to do so, and that's the way how we would protect it. So only by final claims and judgments from courts we could give out any data. Otherwise, it's securely protected. On the other hand, it enables obviously the IAMX wallet to reuse the data, always driven by the instruction of the end user.
Yeah, so that's great. Basically, you as an individual can take control of your own data and share them as you wish, without, just giving away information. So I think this is like a massive improvement in also individual freedom, right?
Perhaps I can add.
Yes, please, Tim.
Yeah, I think it's also the Swiss is also very famous for the banking secrecy, since a long time. And, this has tradition in Switzerland. And, if you have servers, cloud servers or whatever in UK or in the rest of the European Union, it's a lot easier for every government in the world to get this data. In Swiss, it's a little bit different. They really like to follow the tradition of giving, a lot of privacy to people, especially in the financial sector. And this is also why we think it's a really USP that we store the data only with KYC Spider.
Yeah. Very, very good point about Switzerland. Now we come to the challenges, because there are definitely some challenges when integrating self-sovereign identity and blockchain into existing KYC and KYB frameworks. So how can we, or how are you overcoming those challenges to ensure there is a seamless adoption, integration, but also there is awareness and there is education by, the businesses and also the individual as well, actually, to make this happen? What are you doing to kind of overcome those, challenges?
First of all, we collect the KYC data in a very compliant way. So there is no leaking points where the data, can be used from third parties, that we don't have this. And the model of how we monetize it will help businesses. My best example is, because it's my background also, with mobile telecommunication. The telecommunication companies have quite a low income per customer, quite a small margin per year per customer, and we can put 30% on these margins they have with sharing our cashback. So the affiliate market will help us to make companies adopting our technology. And that is a little bit the challenge, to get to the Web2 companies, or the real world companies. You always say the Web3 companies, blockchain companies, they are waiting that we are completely live with a polished product. We are live, but we are not live like we like to have it, like everything super fine polished, and we have some test clients already around us, but we will roll out when they are all happy. And I think, when people see, especially the Web2 companies, how easily Web3 companies integrate a KYC solution, and it makes it much more convenient for the client. I think, the tech is like, compared with the internet, people needed it. They adopted it because it's something useful and brings them added value in her life. And that will happen with companies adopting the technology developed by IAMX and KYC Spider.
I would fully agree, because I see, and more coming from the financial institutions background, I'm looking more to the regulated clients, and there the big challenge I don't see anymore in technology. The big challenge is the regulation as such, which, for instance, doesn't allow, we call it the zero knowledge proof approaches, but they always force players in that environment, in that ecosystem, to store client data. And those type of challenges, we actually do have solutions for it. They are on one side contractual, and technically we obviously enable this compliance as well. So you don't move from compliant to not compliant if you leverage our solutions, but you actually still have the full compliance and also access to the data, even though it's not the concept of decentralized, but as long as the regulator is forcing to collect data, we will also make it available for those companies. So it's I would say, a question of how we contract and how we set up the solution, but we can fully address and fulfill that. Technically, I don't see any more major challenges.
Yeah, brilliant. That's actually tied up quite nicely with the next question, that is more about the financial and the fintech industry. So how do you envision the adoption of self-sovereign identity and blockchain in the future of compliance and due diligence processes in the financial and fintech space? And what are the regulatory implications and requirements associated with implementing those solutions for KYC and KYB?
The big topic is here really at what moment in time a proof that you have checked something is sufficient to satisfy the regulator. We call that the zero knowledge proof, that I don't need to know the content of information, but I need to have a trusted player. That obviously would be us, IAMX KYC Spider, who would confirm that certain situation has been like it was confirmed, and then they would accept this as we call it the zero knowledge proof to prove evidence. Obviously, having all the legal, I explained it in, I think, at the very beginning, how we still could prove it even on content, but that would then really require going through the court through all those instances. So I think that's at the moment the major topic, because that will revolutionize the fintech industry. Imagine you don't need to be anymore. Today, if you apply for a license in most of the countries who are dealing with crypto, you are kind of a subject of the financial markets ecosystem, or you're treated like that. We see also the US very recent decisions of US regulators that all those major coins are treated like security. So you're automatically in this type of regulation in. And having there the freedom that you obviously you want to prove, you do the proof, but you don't need to store all the information on your side will be the major leap forward. And we do believe we will move there, not today and not next year potentially, but it will still take time to educate also regulators that at the end it is about how do we achieve a fair and proper business interaction and how do we avoid fraud and money laundering. And there I think 99% of all the players do have the same objectives. So we just need to get rid of the 1% and make sure that we can do that safely. And here we need also to train and educate even regulators.
I think that is something very important. We see the big difference now in Europe and the US. To say it perhaps a little bit out of my view, personal view, that I see, the regulators in the US perhaps there's lacking a little bit knowledge, and if they feel uncomfortable, they just say no, done, no crypto, we ban everything. In Europe, it's more like we don't understand, so we don't touch it. Let them sell NFTs. Let them, let they do, okay? But when they come back from crypto to fiat, then you have to pay tax. We cash you out, then you have to. And this is something I think from the mentality a little bit different. And I think I like the approach for sure more that we still have the place to experiment. We still have the place to dig deeper in this space of blockchain, decentralization, and a mentality where you say no if you don't understand it, it will not lead to higher knowledge in the whole community, on the whole, in every countries. If we look to other countries like I think very digitalized companies like Estonia, they're super. They do 52% of the people voting online already. If we look at us old European countries, we are like still back in the Middle Age. If we look at our tech, and the US is forcing it even more. They just say stop crypto. They really like to grind it down, and this is something where I can't agree this. It's the same. If you look at the energy problems, perhaps in Germany, you say, okay, we don't understand atom, we stop it. This mentality is always wrong. We have to give the people a little bit space to experiment.
Yes, and you gave some example of different countries. Let's talk a little bit about developing countries, because I know, Tim, you are kind of focused on Africa, and I would like to understand how important is self-sovereign blockchain solution for KYC and KYB in developing countries.
It's very important, but also if we look at we are more richer countries where people like to live, like to leave their old country because of problems there, and when people reach some countries and we give them like a welcome package, and you already see the fraud in welcome packages. So the self-sovereign identity which we like to deliver to the people, and combining it with charity thoughts, there you already have the problem that what Bruno also told, we see a lot of fraud, not only in financial institutions with money laundering, we see it in the small things like getting a bonus 10 times, trying to sneak around it. And there's something what we like to help, the refugee camps. We have a terminal which we pitch at them, they will have a look, but also to give empowerment to inclusion to the financial world. All this can be enabled through self-sovereign identity, because some people, they don't have an identity, so they can't use the normal classic banking system.
Yeah.
But we can onboard them in the crypto world where they can start to explore the world, and we need a little bit freedom from the governments to let this exploration take place.
Yeah. Bruno, do you have anything to add on this topic of developing countries?
I would just add that the last topic Tim made, that I think it's about 15 to 20% of the global population who do not have any state identification, or who do not have any official identification. And I think from the traditional financial systems, they are definitely excluded. And now with these approaches, obviously they can start really use at least the new tech, the new financial systems in the crypto space. And I think that's a major step in the sense of independence and getting connected.
Perhaps I make a short example. We have, there's a very famous example of Ahmed Khan, made by Charles Hoskinson. If you send from a European country money to an African country where most of the business is done still in cash, I will send 100 euro to my brother, perhaps in Ghana or somewhere, and he will get finally $50 to $60 because every else will be deducted. And how wonder, it takes 5 days. That was a super time when you compare to bring money over with a horse. But still the banks, in the internet, in the time where we live with internet, it still takes 3 days if I send something to Ghana. And this is, in my eyes, not acceptable anymore. I like to transfer money with very low transaction costs, and it should be done in real time. And this is something which can the blockchain enable with having everything identified and set up.
I think, Tim, you highlight some very, very big issue. One is time, that maybe for us in a developed country is more important than actually intermediary, right? Because the intermediary costs are less. But when you talk about developing countries like Africa, then it's not just the time, it's also all the middlemen. They are taking a cut. At the end of the day, you are going to get such a small amount compared to what was actually the original amount of the transaction. So really important point for us all to bear in mind. Now, question number 8. That's quite interesting because it brings us to, Web3 and the crypto space. And obviously, one of the main regulatory challenges in crypto is actually the anonymity of a DeFi platform like Uniswap, like SushiSwap or AnySwap, any kind of like the Aave, any DeFi platform, which makes difficult to actually comply with the KYC regulation and also with anti-money laundering regulation. So what are your thoughts on addressing this challenge while maintaining the principle of decentralization and user privacy?
Yeah, this is one of my most favorite topic, because if you look on the blockchain, in the blockchain space, people still think a KYC is tattooed on your forehead. Everybody sees it, and everything is transparent. And this is something we have to educate a little bit. That a KYC is something which you can just show in your wallet, like, yes, I have it, and it's made with a timestamp, date and time, and who did it. That's all people can see, and that's all what you do when you connect your wallet to one of these DeFi protocols. And to look a little bit around ourselves, I think there are not a lot of businesses in the world that likes to work with criminal people. Criminality, I mean the worst things what can happen. Money out of abuse of kids, trading kids, like these really hard criminal issues we have to face in our world. And there is a money laundering for sure. And to avoid this, I think that should be, because blockchain should always say we can bring something positive to the world, we can make it a little bit better. But if people are very anti every regulation, I don't like that I show a little bit who I am, or if I have a KYC, that might lead to something that we are, if we are not criminal people, we still are a wall, we still hide, or the criminal people hide behind us. And this is something where I see anonymity is something nice till a certain point. And the point should come when a bank is allowing people to trade like in the Wild West. And the DeFi protocols, I think most of them has quite good ethically backgrounds in philosophy, and most of them will introduce a KYC more and more because they will get in serious problems. Because also DeFi protocols, if the governments really like to know who's running it, they will find out. They will 100% find out. And just look at the finance of terrorism. They find these people. And I would not work with a DeFi protocol where I don't know who is my opposite, who I do trade with. I think it's people have to get a little bit mature and not think that a KYC is something where I directly pull you to the tax office. A KYC secures us all. It avoids scams. It avoids that you have a bank run and your bank is bankrupt. This is something, you always say, not your keys, not your coin in blockchain. But wouldn't it be great if you can trust your opposite? Wouldn't it be great that, you can trust the people you work with, that I don't know it's Steffi, but I know it's a human being and have a KYC, and if she treats me wrong, I can say, okay, this wallet, made a scam with me, work bad with me. I think this wallet is a malicious actor. So I can go somewhere and say, please find out who belongs this wallet to, because there was a KYC inside. I think this is usually in business, you like to see your opponent, the guy you're the business with. And this is something who has to settle a little bit in the blockchain industry.
Yeah.
It will be decentralized. It will be more anonymity in the next 20 years. But today, it's simply not possible. And we have to have a soft way which should lead to anonymity as much as possible till a certain point.
Yeah.
I mean, just to reiterate, this kind of zero knowledge proof is actually the only answer I can see. So it's like a certification. You're dealing only with people who are certified, obviously, who have, where you don't need to know who it is as a name, but you need to know that they were identified somewhere and they are not on any sanction list, for instance, and that's I think the minimum we will move to. We cannot avoid to go there, and it still protects. Nobody will know my age just because of that. Nobody will know my family or alike. But somewhere in a safe environment, I have put in my data, and that's there is transparency in a safe place, while the others know that I have done that, and that's like any certification.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that for crypto to actually go mainstream and get mass adopted, it does really need to comply with regulation, because it can't always stay at the sideline. So building this level of trust thanks to sovereign identity solution, I think this is a very important point for any business and especially for the fintech space. Now, next question is actually, I'm going to start with you, Bruno, because it's quite exciting, and then maybe Tim, you can add on. What is the role of artificial intelligence in your business operation?
Today, I would prefer to use machine learning as a term, because AI is used or misused in several flavors. So what we obviously do is, when we are collecting data, in particular sanctions, politically exposed persons, and so on, we need to have a logic implemented how to put that in a sensible way together, that we do not have too many wrong hits, that we have here a decent way. And in there, we are using machine learning since a couple of years already in order to make that efficient and to get better and better. So the system kind of gets trained with that approach. So here it is a tool we are using to avoid so-called false positive hits in that environment. Further on, obviously, we do also have a lab where we experience with like ChatGPT to kind of summarize certain background information in a way that is not really violating any copyright and so on, but that I would say so far is more in the laboratory status rather than in real production use.
Yeah, what I can add is with having artificial intelligence with us, we opened the box of the Pandora. I'm a little bit critic. I love the tool. I like ChatGPT. I like all these graphic, I think, plays, where you can be creative and try to play around with it. But in the future, we will have such called deep fakes. And this will be like, especially when you do business, is this Tim and is this Steffi and Bruno? Are we sure? Or is the AI with all the simulations we have, is it someone who likes to scam us? Is there someone, hacked in a telco? Is there, what will we see? Are the news fake? Is the journalist really the journalist who is writing since ages very critically and now he's changing sides? What will happen? And I think this is very dangerous, especially when we look at the educational level we have in nearly all European countries, where people more and more trust the social media in a completely blind way. Who does really read printed newspapers? Who does read books? It's like going down a little bit. And I see, and I think, I don't know if you are both parents, I see the use of social media with my kids. And I think, we have to educate our kids very well, or we have to use SSI in all these things of your life, that we don't get to this pre-caused crime people, these science fiction movies where we can already see a crime. I think it's good back to own your identity, have it in your wallet. And if I start a call, I log in with my wallet, connect wallet, and everybody knows, yes, it should be Tim, 100%, because he logged in with his verifiable credentials out of his cryptographic wallet. And we will see deep fakes, which will be unbelievable. And so I'm quite skeptic with AI, and I'm very happy to work in the self-sovereign identity industry to deliver a tool which will help artificial intelligence to stay on the right line.
Yeah, very good point. Now, last question. The recent bear market obviously had a significant impact on many projects. How has your project managed to survive the longest? I mean, it's not been the longest maybe, but it's been quite a painful bear market, and also continuing building, developing, striving. So what has been your strategy to kind of stay resilient?
I think, Bruno, the bear market doesn't hurt you a lot. It doesn't more hurt your clients, right?
Yeah, well, we usually try to have win-win situations with clients, which might then also lead to a lose-lose, as our fees usually are paid also transaction-based. So we do suffer together with our clients as well. But to me, actually, this is not more than fair, because we also would benefit if the market would go up. So from that perspective, it is what it is. We are on our end happy that we also do have clients outside of the crypto industry, and obviously they do help us kind of to survive and to give us the necessary income stream and revenue stream also in traditional business rather than on the crypto side.
Yeah, for us, where we strongly depend on the crypto market, because of our investors, the VCs companies are investing a little bit less, but we had a long-term vision, and we always exchanged the funds we got into crypto directly into stable coins. So we are always, steering the company in a very conservative way. We save our money as much as possible. we have just paid people with us, and we're very happy that a lot of the team members agree or trust in us a lot. So they agree IAMX tokens, and we are very sure that these tokens will have a quite high value in the short future. Just now we are launching the terminal in Amsterdam next week and the Identity Week Europe. And we survived because we are very flexible. We are very kind of family working together. So we know everybody in person. We had a drink with everybody. So we feel very family. And so we are very flexible and we can rely on the team members. And I think, that is, very important if you have tough times, that you have a team around you, or, you guide a team where is the high respect and understanding for each other. And this helped us in these tough market times. Yeah? But, be conservative, don't speculate too much. I think that is crypto, we are still we are still not adults. The crypto market is still in the childhood. And we have to be very careful there.
I think you mentioned a very important point, especially now with this decentralized and remote way to work. You kind of work with everybody anywhere, and knowing the people that you work with, trust your team is something that is very important. And even from an investor perspective, if we have to kind of say or give some advice to any project building out there, investor invest in people. And having a solid team, having strong leaders as well, like Tim, like you are, that is something that sticks out, and something that definitely any investor would value quite a lot. So thank you for sharing those insights, and thank you, Bruno, for coming on the show. It was great to have you both for this month's edition of IAMX M&A. 10 questions to Tim and Bruno.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Steffi.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's always nice. We love your interviews. They're so fresh. It's, different questions, and it's good. Like you say, it's good to have this human being factor, and it's nice having interviews with you. I like it.
Thank you. And anybody listening that has got any extra question, please get in touch with us, because every month we are going to get together with Tim and maybe with Bruno again. And, we are going to put to him another 10 questions. So, get in touch. Now, Tim, do you want maybe to remind your, social media or where people can reach out to you? And then, Bruno, you can do the same as well. So anybody that is interested, they know where to find you.
Yeah, we have, for us, the most important thing actually is we run a stake pool offering. That is, you can be an investor with the smallest amount you have. You can stake your ADA on the Cardano network in our IAMX stake pool and receive quite a good portion of IAMX token. And you trade this IAMX token for your interest rate you usually get when you stake your ADA. And this is something what helps us a lot. We are nearly funded 50% over the stake pool. We will start to make Catalyst proposals, which is a decentralized treasury on Cardano where you can apply and you show your product. And right now, I think it's the biggest ever with 500 million ADA will be donated to projects. And this is something, really great. And there you can help us. We have a Twitter account with IAMX. You will find that easily. We are on Telegram. So you nearly find us everywhere. And you can always reach out. We are there and answer the questions. Also in Discord, for the more IT related guys, we have a user. We have a channel for our community in Discord also.
I will put the Linktree link so anybody can, see all the information there. Bruno, where people can find you?
Well, still traditional on the web, www.kyc.ch for the time being. And obviously on LinkedIn and Twitter, we are also present, and you can find the company or myself, and with pleasure, I'm more than happy to connect with all of you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
And it's a KYC. What I like to add is KYC Spider. It's a very nice newsletter. It's where you get news over compliance topics. and they are not just made for people which are deeply inside the compliance industry. It's very interesting and always some nice news. So I would recommend to subscribe the newsletter from KYC Spider.
Fantastic. We are going to add that on our description to make sure that people don't miss it. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.